Welcome to the source.
No, we're doing WNBA first, then NHL second. So MLB will probably be around the normal start.
Source. Hey, get the source.
Greetings, everybody. Hope you all had a nice Tuesday night. What's a cool one? We saw some. Oh, here comes Chris. Chris is here. We saw some fun college football. Maybe not the most high quality of play, but hey, it's midweek Conference USA games. You get what you get. So yeah, we're gonna start with some WNBA. We got Chris up first. Chris is taking the screen with me right now. What's up, man?
What up, Cal? How you?
You getting ready? We got 6 days.
They say if you stay ready, Cal, you don't got to worry about getting ready, So
that's what. Hey, I like that. If you stay ready, you don't got to worry about getting ready. I like that. You better be on Knicks plus the points in that opener. It's a layup.
I'm a little concerned with the lack of depth at the big man position behind Carson.
Tibbs, we're running 44. We're running 44 clip out there. It's Tibbs, man. But all right, we're talking about the WNBA finals. New York on the road at Minnesota. What's the series for this right now?
It's 1-1 back in Minnesota first game in Minnesota, best of 5. So yeah, they typically, whoever wins game 3, ends up winning the whole thing because the other team will have to win back-to-back games in game 4 and game 5. So you typically want to go with the team that you like the most.
Which is
the New York Liberty for me. And at this point, Cal, it's kind of like betting anything when you get to the last 2 teams. It's like, you're going to have like a little bias. And I think the numbers kind of support it as well. The reason the Lynx are good and they're really, really good at basketball. But this Minnesota team has only led the series, I think, like 3 minutes and 14 seconds. And you're telling me that I can get them, less than 2 possessions. This line actually opened at 1. The sharp money came in on the Liberty, pushed this all the way money line from -120 all the way to -160. And I agree with it. I think, looking at the Liberty in this spot, knowing that they gave away home court with one of the worst losses that you could have in WNBA history in game 1, they feel a sense of urgency, knowing that just because they won game 2 has nothing to do with them winning game 3. So I think that they'll be motivated. This was also a Liberty team that had the best record in the WNBA on the road. They finished 17-5 straight up, 16-6 against the number. They were plus 10.3 in net rating, best in the league, and also had the best defense. 76.4 points per game is what they gave up on the road. So I know Minnesota is really, really good. They have depth, but it just really hasn't shown itself. But I'm taking a better team here. Give me the Liberty minus the 3.5. I also like the under, because I do think that these as series go on anyway, you tend to see defenses get better. So I'm gonna play the under 160.5 as well. Just thinking that both teams, while they can shoot the 3, they also can defend the 3 really, really well. And I think Minnesota's defense is better. Well, I know it's 6 points per game better at home than it is on the road. So I can see the Liberty struggling to score, having to win with their defense. And I definitely think that the Liberty continue to come out and play with just a level of physicality that we've seen from them in these first couple games. So I like the under and I like the libs here.
Yeah, we definitely saw some of that in the NBA playoffs, teams figuring out what they're trying to do. We saw some unders hit later in the series, so I can get down with that.
Game 2, Cal, was 146, I think. And the total actually went up from game 1 to game 2 because of the overtime. So total game 1 was 160.5. It went up to 162.5. Only ended up 146, and now we see it back on to 160.5, and I think it's going to be another under here.
So Liberty minus 3.5 and under 160.5. All right, Chris, we'll talk soon. I'll hit you up over the weekend. We'll plan out some the NBA for next week.
I was about to say, just let me know. Yep. Best of luck on the diamond tonight, fellas.
All right, later.
All right, catch you guys later.
All right, we're going to do some NHL. Prop Beaver made his name Ronnie the Rat. I don't know why, but we got Roddy and System Plays coming on. Going to go through 4 NHL games. Yeah, so we'll go NHL, then the MLB game, and then we'll get into some college football. And then Prop Beaver has a couple props to give out for NFL this week, if you want to stick around for that at the end. All right, so we got 4 games, it looks like, and the first one up is Buffalo at Boston. System Plays, I know you took a loss with Bruins money line earlier in the season. Are you going back to the? Oh wait, I'm sorry. It's Buffalo at Pittsburgh. My bad. Bruins is 2 games to now. So Buffalo at Pittsburgh, short home favorites here are the Penguins. System plays?
Oh, yeah, I skipped this one, but I just leaned Buffalo here. It got steamed from like plus 110 to minus 105, so I give the goaltending edge to the Sabres. Looks like a sharp spot to back them on the road, but seen the Sabres be fake sharp a lot in the past. I'm just going to skip it. Maybe Ronnie has something for this.
So you said Sabres or pass, or pretty much just a pass?
Just Sabres or pass.
So Sabres or pass. Ronnie, anything for this game? Oh, you're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. There you go. I still can't hear him, though. Can you?
I can hear him now.
Yeah, I can't hear him. Ronnie, we can't hear you. Sign language you're picking. I don't think. Go to the settings in the window and switch your mic up, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, his thing says right here it's muted.
No, he just muted it and unmuted it, though. So I mean, whatever, in this window, in the settings window, you have the wrong mic selected on your computer there. So if you click the settings and audio input or audio sources.
I mean, it says it has his MacBook Air microphone selected.
Maybe. I just clicked on something. There we go. All right. So we'll move on to the next one while he figures it out. Let's move on to the next game. All right. Next up, we have, what is this? Kings, Toronto. The Leafs are minus 185 favorites. How are they that heavily favored against anybody?
What do you mean? Toronto's nice.
Yeah, but we... All right, you're buying into the hype this year? I thought Toronto was the team.
Nice.
I thought no, now I can hear you. So I thought Toronto was the team that always had hype and never delivered.
Oh, word. No, for the last game, though, I'm all over
What's the echo?
Always had hype and never delivered.
Is Ronnie
last
speaking
game,
right now?
though, want to go back to that, I'm all over the Sabres.
Echoing.
Yeah, we're echoing.
Yeah, it's echoing like insane.
Yeah,
Ronnie,
it's
so I'm gonna need you to leave, Ronnie.
Ronnie, just mute your mic because we hear ourselves echoing back to me.
Yeah, we're
So we'll figure it out for next time. System plays though. Toronto.
like insane. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I didn't bet this one either, but I got a solid lean to the under here. Kings, they just played a crazy 8-7 game where they lost in OT. Usually after we see some crazy game like that, like the next game for the team, they usually go under. They tighten up defensively. Riddick starting for the Kings. He's pretty good last year. I expect the Kings to fix their defense after they just allowed 8 goals. Still allows for Toronto. I really like this guy. He's been great so far for the Leafs, and this season we're seeing the Leafs play a lot more defensive hockey. So I just lean under at 6.5 here. Leafs are like minus 180. So I mean, I think the Leafs win, but like obviously if you want to play it, you have to bet them to win in regulation or minus 1.5. So no side for me. I just lean under here. The next two I'll actually have bets on, but yeah, these first I didn't really want to bet.
That was just a lean. It sounds like you kind of like that one by the way you were talking about it, to be honest.
All right.
Yeah, I don't like taking many unders early in the season because early in the season you usually see like a lot of overs. So like unless I really like an under, then I'll go with it. But like early in the season, all the teams are healthy. Like so that's when you usually see a lot of scoring. Like literally just the last Kings game, 8-7, which was absolutely insane. So I kind of stay off the unders. I did have one yesterday, but
all right. Well, let's move on to the games you do have a bet on.
All right. Last try.
We're gonna try Ronnie again.
Let's see if it works.
I mean, I don't hear myself echoing this time, so that's a good start. Switch it. No, I hear myself again.
Yeah. Ron Dog. Ratty.
You gotta mute him, dude. Everyone can hear this.
All right. So you're gonna just need to leave for good. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, we're our own voices are echoing back to us. All right. So anyway, system plays. We are on Boston, Colorado. Now I remember on opening day you had Bruins money line at plus money that didn't come through. Are you going back to them here?
nope. I took Colorado here. I know like the Avs are 0-3 coming into this one. They're sitting as decent sized favorites. Obviously, yeah, the Bruins are going to be a public dog here because the Avs have looked pretty bad so far. That's mostly thanks to their goalie, Georgiev. He's been absolutely terrible. He got pulled in his first 2 games. He allowed 4, and then he allowed 3 on 15 shots. So he got pulled in those 2. So, I mean, if he this is essentially the last straw for him. If he plays like shit here, I guess he's going to get replaced by their backup goalie, who isn't very good either. So, like, this team really needs to figure out their goalie situation. But I think that he can play decently well here. And, like, I get that the Bruins have the goalie advantage here, obviously. But everything else you just have to give to Colorado. Like, yeah, the Bruins are should be a good defensive team, but they really haven't shown it so far. So I can see why the Avs are sitting at -130 here. And obviously they have probably the best home ice advantage in hockey. So I took Colorado here.
Avalanche money line at -135. All right. I feel like, what is the poll? Oh, we don't have the poll up for that one. All right. So Avalanche money line -135. All right. So you're actually taking that one. And you said you got to bet on the last one too.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this one, see, I got Utah at -125, and now it's at like -150, -155. I just looked at it. So it's kind of a different story here, but like I wouldn't take the Ducks either. Utah is the only way I'd go here, but I'm not crazy about laying -150 with them just because it's a really bad spot for them. They just played 3 games on the East Coast, and then less than 48 hours they fly to Anaheim to play this game. So I mean, the schedule makers definitely did them dirty here. But yeah, Utah's the only way I would go. I really like what I've seen from them. Obviously, they did get shut out last game against the Devils, but they scored 6 against the Rangers, 5 against the Islanders. Like they've shown that they can really score, and I think they can do a lot better against the Ducks than they did against the Devils. So yeah, -150, just not crazy about it at that price.
Is there something to be said to? I think I heard it on a podcast. Someone was saying that in the NHL more than any other sport, the expansion teams have an advantage because the rules are very lenient towards new teams or something like that. Like they had the draft, they could only protect a few players or something. Because this team looks really good, right, Utah?
Well, it's not an expansion team. This is the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, so forget everything I just said. I'm not a hockey guy. So since the place likes Utah here, but he got him at -125, and that number is long gone. So at the current price, it would be Utah or pass, it sounds like, for him. But he does like the Avalanche. All right. Says the place. Talk to you in the Discord, man. Later. All right. Let's get Toast on the screen to talk some baseball. If you guys watched the stream last night, we the community. For those of you that didn't watch last night, the community again. The community's red hot with this shit. So the community home run pick yesterday, Jose Ramirez. The community's favorite college football bet was South Alabama -11.5. They both hit. Community parlay hit on NFL Sunday. The community, you guys have been red hot with your votes. So, yeah, the community home run pick for this one was Pete Alonso, for those of you that didn't watch last night. And for those of you that didn't watch last night, me and Toast I actually said the Mets team total over 3.5 was my favorite bet. So Prop Beaver's getting the poll up now. What's the current price? -115 Dodgers and -105 Mets is the current price. This is at a pick 'em last night, so it hasn't really moved much. But yeah, I said my favorite bet was Mets team total over 3.5. Here's the thing. This line is really sketchy to me. I mean, you got the Mets at home. They've been one of the best teams in baseball for 3 months with the starting pitching advantage. I think this should be about -125 Mets. And I also think the total should be up at 8.5. With Walker Buehler pitching, Severino pitching to some very talented lefties. So this line and this total, neither of it really makes sense. So I feel like Mets team total over would be, in theory, playing the squarest possible bet because I think the total's suspiciously low, and I think the Mets are suspiciously underpriced. So playing the Mets team total over is literally combining the two most square bets, in my opinion. But that would be my favorite bet. And probably I also have Pete Alonso to get a walk, +100.
And you make fun of me.
Oh,
Don't worry, Beaver. I had your back on the live last night for sure.
I mean, cringe fest. Holy shit.
Pete Alonso's practicing excellent plate discipline recently.
As far as that price is concerned, as you guys know, I'm on Mets first 5 in full game. The first 5 is still Mets minus 120 for the most part. It's that full game. So I think that what they're trying to tell us is, for whatever reason, that they really like the Dodgers bullpen advantage. But as I talked about last night, again, I'm not going to try to make a case that I think that the Dodgers bullpen is bad after what they've shown in the playoffs. That's not what I'm going to do. But what I can say is that this Mets team has seen a lot of the guys that they're probably going to see. Like I said last night, if Walker Buehler comes out here and pitches 6 or 7 innings, so be it. It is what it is. I can live with that. But I just don't think that's going to be the case, considering he's going like 5 innings max in all of his starts. And now you're going to have all these guys, whether it be Landon Knack, Honeywell, Brazier, Banda, Daniel Hudson. I mean, the Mets have seen all these guys for a decent amount. It's not like they're coming in and pitching 3 outs or, like 9 pitches. It's all 18 plus, 57, 37, 55, 20. So the Mets are very familiar with the guys that they're probably going to be following Walker Buehler tonight. Do I worry about Trident and Kopech and Phillips? Absolutely. Yeah, they're very good at their job. So, but at the same time, like I also talked about yesterday, the Mets bullpen has been kind of under the radar, pitching pretty well themselves. Mets bullpen over the last 14 days, second in ERA, first in WOBA, second in xFIP. So they're getting the job done as well. It might not be as pretty, but again, it's not like the Mets bullpen is really letting them down a whole bunch. So obviously Diaz went the other night, Maton went the other night, Stanek went the other night. But again, you have the Dodgers who didn't see Budo, they didn't see Garrett, they didn't see Peterson for that long, or they haven't seen Peterson in a couple days. So I don't think that the advantage that the books are portraying this out to be, I don't know as far as the money is concerned, but as far as the pricing is concerned, I don't think the advantage for the bullpen for the Dodgers is as big as people are making it out to be. I think it's a little bit more of a wash, especially with the Mets at home. So I just wanted to say that as far as the pricing is concerned, because I don't think it's – go ahead.
The Dodgers are favored here. How?
Yeah, because of the bullpen. I truly believe that. In my heart of hearts,
the Mets bullpen has been good.
I get that. I get that. I'm not. But I told you last night, people are going to be betting the Dodgers. People like the Dodgers today. So again, we can go through it really quickly. Again, Severino, a guy that I trust at home, 7-2 at home this year with almost 100 innings pitched. Teams are hitting 231 against him with a 650 OPS, compared to on the road, teams are nearly hitting 260 with an 800 OPS. He's performed significantly better at home this year. Do some of the Dodgers have some gaudy numbers against Severino? Yeah, but one of them's Ohtani. He has gaudy numbers above everybody. Ohtani's 3 for 6 off of him with a home run and a double. That looks obviously very, very good. Mookie Betts is 10 for 32 against him with a homer and a few doubles. That's really like the worst you're going to see. Everything else is 2 for 1 or 1 for 3 or whatever. Freddie Freeman's 0 for 5 against him. Kike Hernandez is 1 for 6 against him. So again, I just don't really care that much about it. I mean, Sevy's one of these guys that there's one thing that I trust is against right-handed bats, and you're going to see a whole bunch of right-handed bats in that Dodger lineup from guys like Betts, Teoscar Hernandez, Will Smith, Kike Hernandez. And again, the lefties is with Ohtani. Obviously, you're going to worry about Ohtani. Whatever. Freddie Freeman, I mean, I know that he's a Mets killer. We talked about that last night, but he's also not 100%, and he's not really Freddie Freeman right now. Obviously he's going to play. I'm not saying that I actually put him in a hit parlay because of that, but again, I'm not worried about Freddie Freeman ripping doubles down the line and stuff, because he's not going to be able to run those out. So Max Muncy's a true coin flip. He's either going to strike out or essentially hit a home run. And then Gavin Lux is another guy he hasn't really done anything. He's not a guy that I really worry about too much. Talented player, but besides that meaningless home run in the Padres series, he's really been kind of useless for LA. So, and as far as the Mets are concerned, stop. As far as the Mets are concerned, Pete Alonso, Jesse Winker, Starling Marte, Lindor, Iglesias all have solid numbers against Walker Buehler. Pete Alonso 5 for 14 with 4 homers off of him. That's a 1.57 OPS. Again, that doesn't really mean a whole lot, but my point to all that is for all the points that you can make for the Dodgers against Severino and their history, you can really make those same cases for the Mets against Walker Buehler as well. The Mets hit much better at home. again, yeah, I like the Mets here tonight. I'm not really worried about the price. I mean, I've looked this game up and down, this series up and down. I felt really stupid taking the Dodgers in game 2. Again,
As you should have.
Yep. I'm not even going to talk about why I did it, but I feel really stupid.
Because you were scared.
I apologize to Grimace. I apologize to Andy today. He yelled at me, but I let it go because it was on me. So I am Grimace. I got Grimace first 5 and full game. And yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let's go Mets. By the way, that Alonso walk prop is plus 100, not plus 150.
Beaver, when he said that, you don't understand. It was like the first thing I said. It was like, oh my God, this guy.
See, but Prop Beaver does it. When he gives out a walk prop, there's no analytics behind it. He's just being silly.
That's what it is.
I actually put hard thought into this, and I've been watching Pete Alonso's plate appearances. He's practicing a lot of discipline at the plate. He's really turned around. I don't know if he worked with a hitting coach, but he's gotten a walk in 5 straight games. He's also struck out looking a few times. That's how many pitches this dude's taking. He's been striking out looking. I like the newly found disciplined Pete Alonso. I'm a fan. So yeah, he's gonna walk.
He does have more walks than strikeouts, which is good. So for every time he strikes out, he's gaining a walk. So that's a positive signs for Mr. Polar Bear.
Great analytics.
All right, let's talk can we talk about a real sport? Let's talk about football.
Yep.
I love you, Prop Beaver. Have a good day, guys.
All right, love you too.
All right, let's talk some college football. We got Scoop and Andy about to come on. We got 2 games. Tonight's game's much better than last night's games. I was talking to a few people, so I know a few of you were watching this along with us. But for those of you who sat there and watched the Middle Tennessee Kennesaw State game, just know that you have my respect as far as being a true football fan. If you sat there like I did and watched that game, holy shit, what a bad football game. And I'm not the type of person that talks shit about coaches. Like, I couldn't do a better job coaching a college football team, so I feel crazy being like, this coach sucks, But Derek Mason, dude, like, what? Some questionable coaching decisions for Middle Tennessee. But anyway, all that to say this: tonight's games are much better, and this first one.
Well, one of them. Let's not be.
I think the other game's kind of cool. Not good. I mean, maybe okay. In terms of quality of football, yes. But I mean, I actually think the game could be interesting. We could see a decent football game. In fact, there's a lot of people in the comments saying they like UTEP to upset. I'm not one of them, so don't even paint me with that brush. I'm not blindly loyal to UTEP. But anyway, let's start with the good one. This could be. I mean, with you throw Liberty in there. This is one of the Conference USA games of the year right here. Western Kentucky, Sam Houston State. This number's down to 2. Was at 2.5. Look, a couple people are really big on this Sam Houston State team, and I get it. Like, I was wrong. I said Sam Houston State was going to fall short of expectations. I would argue that they're still able to do that. I mean, we need to see them play this game. We need to see them play. Do they play Liberty this year? They have to, right? We need to see them play this game. Liberty's at the end of the year. They also go on the road to Jacksonville State. They still got to play Sonny Cumbie and La Tech. So, like, Sam Houston State could still lose 4 more games. So let's chill. But I do understand why they are favored here. That being said, as far as how these two teams match up, when you look at the Western Kentucky season, you basically have to separate it into 2 sections: the pre-Velkamp, the Western Kentucky season, and the post-Velkamp Western Kentucky season. Because once they switched at quarterback from TJ Finley to Velkamp, we're starting to see Western Kentucky look like the Tyson Helton Western Kentucky teams we've come to know over the last few years. They're averaging like 330 passing yards per game in the 4 games that Velkamp started. Look, Sam Houston State is a tougher defense. Western Kentucky has played a few defenses on the, I don't want to say easier side, but like, let's be real. Middle Tennessee, UTEP, these are not respectable defenses. They did play Boston College on the road at Boston College. He struggled a little bit in that game. I think his numbers in the Toledo game are a little misleading. I feel like he played better than those numbers indicate. But anyway, they won that game. So regardless, I like the matchup for Velkamp and the Western Kentucky passing attack better than I like the matchup for Sam Houston State's defense. The Sam Houston State offense likes to... Oh, I'm on Western Kentucky, Prop Beaver.
Okay.
I got it at +2.5. I would still play it at +2. I think they win. So I like them. And as long as they're an underdog, I like them. So this Sam Houston State offense, 10th in rushing frequency. They want to run the ball. That plays directly into the strength of this Western Kentucky defense. They've actually had a somewhat respectable run defense this year. I think they're sitting at 55th in effective rush. And this Sam Houston State offense has played some really, really bad run defenses. Hawaii, New Mexico State, UTEP. So, I'm not saying that the Sam Houston State run game isn't for real. I'm just saying they're racking up some numbers on some bad defenses. I think Western Kentucky's able to give the run game some problems. Now, is this the game where Hunter Watson makes some plays through the air? I think that's highly possible. We did see him do that earlier in the season. Last handful of games, last 4 games or so, Hunter Watson hasn't been great throwing the ball, but Western Kentucky has shown us they're very susceptible to big plays through the air. So maybe this is the game Hunter Watson breaks out and makes a couple big throws. I personally am not a believer in Hunter Watson. I didn't even think he was going to be the starting quarterback entering the season. So I feel more comfortable backing Velkamp as a dog here. So I'm on Western Kentucky. I know Andy's on Western Kentucky also because he loves Western Kentucky.
Yeah, 100%. You know how high I am on Western Kentucky. And something I do want to look at with Sam Houston is the quarterbacks that they've faced. And I put it in the video yesterday. They faced a couple of teams who want to throw the ball, right? Top 50 pass frequency teams. And Kyle made a good note that none of those teams are very good at throwing the ball, but they want to throw the ball, right? Rice, they throw the ball more than anybody. They're number 1 in pass frequency. Well, EJ Warner couldn't do anything against Sam Houston State, but he hasn't been good in doing anything against anybody. Yeah. Hawaii, same thing. They're second in pass frequency. They haven't been doing anything against anybody. But they played a game against Texas State and Jordan McLeod. Everybody knows they want to throw the ball, and everybody knows he's really, really good. I'd put Velkamp closer to him or closer to Cade McConnell than I would put him to EJ Warner or to Brandon Shager, who both have awful years so far. Caden Velkamp's coming into this game feeling good. He's had a great start to the year, hot start to the year. I'm stunned he wasn't the starter from the get-go. I don't know who made that decision, but it was stupid. This team has been a much, much better team. They are competitive in the Conference USA. I still think that they're going to win this conference, but just looking at Sam Houston State and this matchup, they have not seen a quarterback to the level of Velkamp besides Jordan McLeod. And Jordan McLeod ripped them to shreds. So it makes me very confident that he's going to pick up where McLeod left off, less than do what Schrager or what EJ Warner did, who are both been awful this year, right? Velkamp's been much better. I think he's going to throw the ball over the place. And like he said, Sam Houston wants to run the ball. Well, really, nobody but Alabama ran the ball on Western Kentucky. I mean, Boston College, I know it was a backup quarterback, but Middle Tennessee, Toledo, UTEP, Eastern Kentucky ran a little bit on them, but that was week 2. That was a different game. It was a home opener. This team hasn't been run on by the level of anybody but Alabama. So they can stop Sam Houston and they can throw all over him. So I think it works out perfectly. Wrong team's favored is, I think, the way you phrased it in the video yesterday. I like that. I think that this is a team I would take the money line. I just took the 2.5 to play it safe a little bit because I kind of need to. But I would take the money line too. I think this team can still go on and win this conference.
Scoop?
First, I did absolutely awful yesterday. Complete dog water. I don't even know how I was close to covering that Troy game. Just atrocious behavior all around.
In your defense, I mean, Troy had Caldwell out there, quarterback. Go hold it.
How about the Sam Houston team? We're the believers. I said this team was a solid team. I already hit their over on the season. It was 4.5. So this team's good, and this game actually is a really solid game. Like Kyle said, a huge Conference USA game that's going to have an impact on the championship possibly. I don't know what the local headline was. I think it wasn't bad, but if you thought this matchup before, if you looked at this matchup before this season, you'd have to think Western Kentucky would be favored by a touchdown. I love the Sam Houston team, honestly, and Western Kentucky's probably the better team. Velkamp has been pretty great stepping in for TJ Finley. Sometimes a little sloppy with the ball, but he's definitely getting the job done. He's definitely better than TJ Finley. Honestly, this game can go either way. Both have been great defenses, or at least better than expected. They're both 5-1 against the spread. I hate to say it, as much as I'm a Sam Houston fan, I'm going to go with Western Kentucky for the sweep. Mainly just because Sam Houston loves to run the ball. Hunter Watson's more of a rushing quarterback than Arian and Ad, in my opinion. And like Kyle said, he hasn't looked good the last couple games. Plus, Western Kentucky's given up less than 4 yards a carry if you get rid of that Alabama game to start the season, because obviously they didn't belong there. But Velkamp's more than capable of throwing it on Sam Houston. He has the most touchdowns, most passing yards per attempt, best completion percentage in Conference USA. Not saying Sam Houston isn't playing great defensively against the pass. I just think they're going to have problems with Belkemp behind the line. Not to mention the offensive line of Western Kentucky looks to be the real deal, at least against Conference USA opponents. They haven't really allowed a lot of sacks at all, and plus Western Kentucky needs this game to keep Andy's boys alive for the Conference USA title. I think he has a future on that. So, yeah, I like Western Kentucky here. I think the wrong team's favorite too.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, their only losses at Boston College, at Alabama. I mean,
and they nearly won the Boston College game too.
But Castellanos didn't play. I'm saying their only losses are Power 4 programs. But yeah, we're on Western Kentucky. Next game. FIU.
Every time I see UTEP's logo
now. Scoop, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the Miners?
Definitely the worst of the two matchups today. I know you have a bet, which I saw, and I'm like, all right, well. Yeah, UTEP Miners, man. I thought last week was the week. It was not. UTEP has only covered the number once this year, lost against an FCS Southern Utah team. I refuse to bet on this game. I bet on this garbage yesterday, on the slate yesterday. I thought the over was going to be a good bet in that Middle Tennessee game, but 14 points against Kennesaw? Come on, man. 14-5. I watched that. I don't understand what's wrong with me. I actually really like FIU. They did cover the last two games. They beat Louisiana Tech, and they only lost by 7 to Liberty. I like Keon Jenkins. I don't know why. I don't know what he does well that I actually enjoy, but it's crazy to think FIU is 7 points better than anybody. I know Sauce believes in Scotty Walden. I actually do like him as a coach. I think he's a good coach. He was awesome at Austin Peay and came into this just overmatched. They don't have the talent available for him to compete. I know some of these are Austin Peay transfers, but he needs more recruiting, which he'll get better in a couple years. This team's going to be good in a couple years. I don't think UTEP has been that bad. The defense is their problem. I mean, they give up 234 yards on the ground a game. The thing is, I don't think FIU has the ability to put yards on much of anyone. If you look at their previous games, they haven't been in games from their offense. They're just an all-around below-average team, and their defensive line is actually really terrible. So UTEP can establish a run game here. If I had a gun to my head, like people say, I would take UTEP. Will I bet this? Not a chance. UTEP's just going to win a game when you don't expect it. So I'm not touching this game.
Gun to your head, you're taking the Miners.
Miners ball.
Andy, what are your? You know what? Everyone hated my UTEP pick last week, and then after seeing how the game went, kind of understand why they hated it. That being said, I put out a video on these games, and the comments. There's a lot of comments saying this is the one. There's a lot of comments from people taking UTEP in this game. That being said, I'm looking at the poll right now, 60%, 20% FIU. So the people watching right now are on Florida International. What about our truth?
The funniest part of that Middle Tennessee only scoring 14 on Kennesaw, they scored 14 in 8 minutes against La Tech the other day, and they scored 14 the whole game against Kennesaw State. That's just crazy. Yeah. But yeah, I do think this is... I'm not betting it, but if I were to bet it, this would be the one for UTEP. I think UTEP could win this game outright as well. FIU, they had a bit of a better game than I think anybody expected they would have against Liberty the other day. But I've been pretty clear how I feel about Liberty. I don't think Liberty's that good of a football team. I think they had a really fortunate schedule last year. I think they've had a fortunate schedule this year. Probably should have lost twice already. So I'm not like overrating FIU for that game. And then UTEP comes into this. If they can just let, Skylar Locklear now, he's the guy because McConnell, I believe, is hurt. And I doubt they would put him in again. If he can just know he's the guy, not have anybody breathing over his shoulder, maybe he can get something done. Because, look, FIU's defense is not good. I think that their defense is very bad. And they also struggle. They're a one-dimensional team on offense, too. So, that's not exactly a great recipe. So if UTEP was going to win a game this year, well, this is hopefully the one for them. So I'll take UTEP.
Or Kennesaw, one of them.
Yeah, true. Kennesaw is on the schedule. Boy, that'll be a fun one.
Is Locklear back at quarterback? Is Locklear back at quarterback?
Didn't say.
Yeah, they're not telling us. I'm not betting UTEP if Locklear is playing quarterback. I placed a bet on UTEP because McConnell was playing quarterback. I'm on the under here. Right now McConnell's listed as questionable. I don't think he's going to play. I think Locklear's back in there. I didn't like what I saw at all from him. And to summarize how I feel about this game in 3 sentences, or I don't even know how many sentences this is going to be, to briefly summarize what I'm about to say, both of these teams, the weakness of both these teams is defending the run, right? That's what that's how you beat these teams. You run the football on them, and it should be pretty easy. That being said, these are two absolutely god-awful, terrible rushing attacks. These are two teams that try to throw the ball. FIU with Jenkins, definitely more successful throwing the ball than UTEP is, but I don't want to say strength, but the strength of these two defenses is defending the pass. So I think both of these teams come in looking to run the ball more than they normally do because that plays into the weakness of their opponent. The clock should be running. I truly think both defenses are able to give opposing offenses problems. And let's be real. I mean, UTEP's bad. I think we're all kind of forgetting how bad FIU is as well because they played Liberty tough. I mean, FIU's not good. Jenkins is very limited as a passer. I mean, he's a good athlete. He can get the ball out to the flats. He could also, I mean, he gets outside the pocket and makes some throws. But like for a team that pretty much runs a pass-heavy, I wouldn't say pass-heavy offense, but a team that's reliant on its passing attack with Jenkins, he's a very limited thrower. So this FIU's not good. I'm not taking UTEP because if Locklear's at quarterback, there's just no way. But there's no chance in hell I would ever lay a full touchdown on the road with FIU against anybody. There's nobody in the FBI. I don't know if I'd lay 7 on the road with FIU against Kennesaw, because that's just not an offense you can trust week in and week out. So I actually think UTEP's defense is equipped to give FIU's offense some problems. I guess, gun to my head, I would take UTEP plus 7, but I'm not doing it. Just give me the under. I got it at 48. You know what? Let me tell you what I'll tell you what I got it at right here. Pull up my slip. 48.5. Did it drop? Holy shit! It's down to 46.5. Wow, guys, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it dropped that much. No, you can still get a 47.5. Okay, that's better. I got it at 48.5. I like the under. I think we're low scoring game here, so under. All right, Prop Beaver's got some NFL props. So, gentlemen, talk to you in the Discord. Late 'em. So, Prop Beaver picked 2 games here. He picked the Carolina-Washington game and the Kansas City-San Francisco game. I don't have a bet in either one. So, the reason that we chose these games is because AJ, Prop Beaver, is going to deliver us some props. But as far as what I have, I mean, I'm down to talk about them, but I don't have a bet in either of these games. But briefly, to summarize how I feel about Carolina-Washington, this is a spot you take the Panthers, right? I mean, there's just no way laying more than a touchdown with a Washington team. We don't know if they can perform, and we've never seen them in this kind of role, laying more than a touchdown with a rookie quarterback. That's insane. You take the Panthers here. That being said, the Panthers and Patriots, I think, are so far beneath the rest of the NFL that I don't know if the Panthers have even proven to us that they can stay within single digits of a team. They had that game against the Raiders, right? The Andy Dalton resurgence game. Since then, they've been beaten handsomely every game, and there wasn't even many moments where they looked competitive. So it would only be Washington, as crazy as that sounds, but the chances of me actually placing a bet on this game really slim. I know some people that Washington's a very popular teaser pick, using Washington -1.5, Washington -2 in some teaser bets. That does make a lot of sense. You cross over 7 and 3. Most sports books are going to make you pay to cross over those key numbers. So if you are going to do something like that, a 6-point teaser, make sure you shop around. Make sure you're selecting the 6-point teaser option in the sports book to get the best possible odds. So yeah, I guess I don't hate Washington as a teaser option at -2, but if your gun to my head forced me to place a bet on this game, I would say Washington -8 or the over. So you can just put Washington -8 up for me, Prop Beaver, so there's something under my face while you're talking. But as of right now, I don't have anything down in this game. So Washington -8 or pass. Go ahead. What do you got for us?
I'm just going back to the guy that just continues to make us money almost every single week here. Coming in a bit low on the mic. I don't know why that is. Maybe I guess I'm not talking into it straight enough here. I'm going with Deontay Johnson over 66.5 receiving yards. We stayed off of him the 1 week. He shot the bed, thankfully, but We've pretty much cashed out with him. The other 3 times he was with Andy Dalton, he's been a cash cow for us. No reason not to go back to him here in one of the best matchups possible. The Commanders are an absolute abomination at defending wide receiver ones. They've allowed the most yards per game at 95 and sit 31st in DVOA against wide receiver ones. And the Commanders are top 10 in man coverage rate. If you know me and you heard my preachings about Deontay Johnson over the summer, you know about Deontay Johnson against man coverage. He's one of the best wide receivers in the game against man coverage, one of the best separators. And the Commanders live specifically at a cover 1 and cover 2, sitting top 10 in frequency in both. Well, that's really important for us here because against those coverages with Andy Dalton, Deontay Johnson owns an unreal 50% air yard share, so he's getting the big bombs, and he's got a 36.6% first read target share, so he's getting all the designed looks against those coverages. And we've seen Deontay Johnson now have 10 plus targets and 6 plus receptions in all 3 games with Dalton, besides that bout against that elite Chicago pass defense. On top of that, they're in this game as 8-point dogs here with a 51.5 point total. With 6 plus receptions, wide receivers are 17-2 to the over against Washington at 66.5 yards in 2023, averaging not 70 yards, but 110 yards. With 10 plus targets, wide receivers are 9-1 to the over since Washington at 2023, averaging 120 yards. You want to know who the lone person to miss was? Amari Cooper this season by 7 yards. If he had any other quarterback throwing him the ball, he likely makes the mark. So, yeah, I got to keep backing Deontay Johnson. Keelan said Deontay Johnson is questionable. He's been questionable every single week. And they just kind of have him on, like, I would say, they kind of have him like a NBA type plan where they're just like giving him some rest. 1 week he'll like sit out the Wednesday practice. 1 week he'll have all limited practices. I don't think he's going to have a full practice this entire rest of the season. So I'm not worried about it.
All right. So let's move on to the next one, which is...
This is a good game.
This is the game of the week here, but as far as betting it, I mean, there's a lot of injury concerns on both sides, and you don't fade Patrick Mahomes as an underdog, right? A crazy record as an underdog, but at the same time, as far as the quote-unquote storyline of the NFL goes, like, this is the one the 49ers win. I don't know. I guess it'll be Chiefs or pass, but with all the injury question marks on the 49ers side, this is definitely one that I'll talk about this one on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, I need to see if some of these guys are playing. There's significant question marks on the 49ers defense here. So I don't know. This is a straight pass for now. I guess no, don't even put Chiefs up because I depending on what happens with the injuries, if all these questionables, if Travarius Ward is playing, a couple of these guys have been ruled out from last time I looked. I don't know. This sucks. It's the best game of the week, but is there any betting value in this game? I really don't think there is in terms of a side. Seems like Prop Beaver has a prop for us.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, there's betting value. His name is George Kittle. He has long hair, and he doesn't look like he takes showers, but he has some betting value here. I like him quite a bit in this matchup. We're going with the 50-plus receiving yards in this one. Got bumped up from the 48.5 I locked in a few hours ago. Don't give a shit. 1 yard isn't going to make me lose sleep here. Chiefs have been getting cooked by tight ends this season. They're allowing the most yards per game at 75.2 and most targets per game to the position, and they're sitting 19th in DVOA. And the thing that's weird here, not only have all 5 tight ends who are leading their teams in yardage go over their receiving yards mark against the Chiefs in their 5 games, none of them are even close to talent in terms of Kittle. I mean, Isaiah Likely's pretty cool, but obviously no George Kittle. We got Kyle Pitts, Will Dissly, Mike Gesicki, Juwan Johnson. These are the guys who are putting up 75.2 yards per game against the Chiefs. I mean, this is George Kittle we're talking about here. And Kittle's usage has been as consistent as ever this season without CMC stealing some of the spotlight in the passing game. He's averaging 56.6 yards per game, 5.6 receptions per game, 7 targets per game. That usage is really important to me, honestly, because with 4+ receptions, this is a guy over his last 15 of 20 games averaging 76.7 yards per game. And with 5+ receptions, he has cashed 12 straight games going back to 2021. So that is just massive right there. And now I'm trying to pull it up for us right now here, but something that I've noticed is that the Chiefs are amongst the top 10 in 2 high looks. I noticed that George Kittle leads the team in target percentage amongst those 2 high looks. So if he leads the team in a team that has a lot of heavy targets, we got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. He leads the team in target percentage amongst those 2 high looks. So he's the guy that Brock Purdy looks for in those looks. On top of that, he looks for him even more in those situations when he's pressured. Chiefs obviously have one of the highest pressure rates in the league. So I just think that this is a smash spot for Kittle to get it going. We've seen guys go over the mark in every single game in terms of tight ends against the Chiefs this season. I think Kittle goes over the mark yet again here. On top of that, the last thing I wanted to say, I remember betting Kittle in the Super Bowl. I lost my bet because he said going in that he felt he didn't do enough in the previous Super Bowl when he faced them. You want to know what he did in the Super Bowl? 2 catches for 6 yards. That shit's got to be eating him up. That he didn't do jack shit in the Super Bowl. He should be coming into this one super motivated. So, yeah.
So you're saying it's eating him up?
Eating him up. I mean, got to be eating him up.
What do you think about an under? I feel like in terms of it makes football sense for an under. Both of these offenses not quite functioning on all cylinders. Also, well, how do you beat the 49ers defense? You run on them. The Chiefs are rolling out.
I'll say this. Deebo Samuel's receiving yards, I think, is at like 52.5. That seemed pretty low to me with the way that dude has been cooking thus far. And if they're able to shut him down, I don't know. Intriguing.
Yeah, so I guess under. I don't freaking know. I don't want to say anything because I don't have a bet on this game, and we're going to do a video on this one where I'll look at it a lot more closely, and maybe I can find something. But as of right now, Chiefs 49ers, flip a coin. You know, like if I don't know how you doubt Patrick Mahomes as an underdog coming off a bye. It seems crazy, but I got nothing. So, all right. Do we want to do a community top bet? They nailed it last night. They've been. We should give them a community top bet with the 2 college football games.
We got to give it to the people.
Yeah, or maybe we should refer to the people giving the bets to us because the community's been killing it. So there's only 2 games, and I'm going to look up who they won and who won the polls there. I'm going to scroll up. So they voted FIU -7, and they voted Western Kentucky. So community top bet, FIU -7. All right, we'll put Mets money line in there too. FIU -7, Western Kentucky +2. Mets money line. What's the community's favorite bet? Community home run pick, by the way, which hit last night, is Pete Alonso, the polar bear. So the community continues to deliver. That's you guys.
That's you. You?
Hey.
That's
you.
you.
That's you.
That's you, stud. You feeling down on yourself? You hit that bet.
Go ahead and cast your votes here. Let's see who wins this community favorite bet.
Scott, you said you like Deebo over receiving yards. I don't know if it's you or another guy that begins with an S, but you say a lot of mean things about me, so you could just fade me. It's fine.
Scott Gallagher?
Yeah.
Does he say some mean shit about you? He's usually a nice guy.
One of the S words does.
There's several people whose name starts with an S in the comments. There's thousands of people that watch. You just know it's somebody that starts with an S.
They're here regularly. They're regularly not nice. It begins with an S. That's what I know.
Scott, okay. you've been mean to Prop Beaver, Scott?
You've been bullying me, Scott.
Have you been bullying people out here?
Bullying me, Scott. I've built thicker skin by thinning my skin, but I don't appreciate.
He said, "Not me, buddy." That was a condescending buddy, though.
Yeah,
the way Scott, he said that.
Scott, you're hurting your case, Scott.
No, and then he says, "I love you and the sauce."
Okay, all right.
He might be just putting on a front, though. He might secretly hate you.
I'm keeping my eye on you.
What's the top bet?
I believe. I thought it was the FIU, but this is such a tight poll, fella.
We'll give it a few more seconds.
This community, they're really mulling this over.
Cyberbully Scott. Someone said.
I'm gonna have to.
Mark. Scott is the nicest mean guy in here.
All right, I had to pull the plug on it. It was getting too intense, this poll. I was getting sweaty. All right, the Mets. The Mets.
Of course it is. Grimace up. All right, so community. Type underneath the Mets to do an enter and put Alonso home run because that is the community home run pick.
Okay.
And the community's been hot enough where they deserve it displayed on the screen.
Yeah.
It's top 20 Louisiana says everybody was mean to me when I called the Bills over the Jets. It's a war zone in the comments, man. All right, everyone. I'm going to bet that Avalanche, too. I thought System Plays was confident with that one. I'm going to bet that Avalanche money line. Everyone, thanks for watching. Let's go Mets. I'll be back same time tomorrow uploading videos. I put 3 videos up if you want to watch some of the games I handicapped for college football this week. Tennessee, Alabama's up. Texas, Georgia's up. Colorado, Arizona is up. Those 3 videos are up. If you want to go check out those handicaps. I gave out bets for all of them too, all 3 of them. So if you want to check those out, everyone. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Talk to you guys later.